Coming up on Recession Rx, we'll have the details on a new law to help stop foreclosures, plus how to apply for the 1,200 new jobs at the Hard Rock. All that and more on Recession Rx.
Recession Rx, your prescription for getting through these tough times.
The majority of homeowners in southern Nevada are now paying more for their mortgages than their homes are worth, and that's leaving many homeowners trying to work with their lender to get a better loan. There are nonprofit counselors that can help, but some people are choosing to pay for help, and that's bringing mixed results. Craig Scott is one of the top hairstylists in town, but the recession has cut into his business. He looked at modifying his mortgage to cut cost, and in the end, he hired someone to do it.
You know, I have a full-time job, and although my business has slowed down, I still have to be at work, and I don't have time to be on a cell phone all day calling my lender, you know, for hours. And so after interviewing lawyers and, you know, different groups and stuff, I decided to go with this one agency and have them, you know, help me with my modification.
Scott's mortgage was with IndyMac. He says first he tried dealing with the lender himself.
It's just frustrating to go through everything yourself and not really knowing all the little ins and outs. And I just decided it would be better to hire someone, and well worth my money, that works with it on a daily basis. You know, when you're going through it for the first time, you know, it's trial and error.
So Scott hired this man, Ian Hirsch, a licensed debt adjuster who got Scott a new loan.
You could try to do it on your own, but you're practicing on yourself. I mean, do you want to risk losing your house because you feel that you can learn how to do a loan modification on one try? And more people are finding out that they do need help, that it becomes a full-time job. You know, we're making phone calls on clients' behalfs every day, but when I'm calling Countrywide, I can check on 20 loans all at the same time. And when I'm talking to Countrywide, I'm not talking to the standard entry-level collector that the consumer is calling, sometimes in India. You know, we have people in the United States where we have their direct line, we make the phone calls, we get these things pushed to the top of the list. I mean, there's just not enough money to get everybody's loan modified.
Hirsch charges homeowners 1% of the loan, on average about $3,000. Craig Scott says his loan turned out better than expected.
Much better. You know, the loan eventually caps out on the 7th year at 4.75%, and you know, that's better than a lot of people are getting now.
But some property owners aren't so lucky. Maria Parra lost $20,000 when she hired someone to help modify the loans on her commercial properties. Why did you go to him?
Well, because he was on the newspaper and I know him for a long time. So I thought that he was, you know, doing good. Because I know him from a bank and he was good in the bank.
Parra paid her loan modifier most of the money up front. When she asked for an accounting of the case, she got her files back, but not her money.
That's one of the reasons why these people doing, you know, stealing money from everybody, because they know that you need them.
Experts caution against paying large amounts of money up front for any service. Even Hirsch says that's a warning sign.
If they're demanding that you pay the whole thing up front, run. You know, don't do it. I don't care if they give you a guarantee. You're getting a guarantee from a company that probably wasn't in business 6 months ago.
As for Maria Parra, she says she's tried to work directly with her lenders, but says they don't really want to help.
It's very, very complicated because, I mean, where are you going to go? You know?
And it is complicated, but there is help available. You should check any company out with the Better Business Bureau. And you can go to our website for a link to this latest brochure from the Federal Reserve Bank on the ins and outs of loan modification. And if you're not sure who to contact and you think you've been scammed, you'll find the resources you need at fightfraud.nv.gov. FCC.gov. Until now, the State Consumer Affairs Department has been handling complaints about those companies offering loan modifications. In fact, it is the #2 complaint right behind auto repairs. But because of budget cuts, the agency is closing its doors. As Jay Jones reports, the upcoming changes may actually be good for consumers.
At the office of the Nevada Division of Consumer Affairs, the small sign on the wall says it all. They're going out of business on June 30th, and complaints may not be resolved before then. But that doesn't mean people with loan modification concerns will have nowhere to turn.
That particular regulatory function is now going to be overseen through the Division of Mortgage Lending. And with the new legislation, there's actually more structure to that oversight than there was previously. So folks will have a place to go to get help with loan modification specialists, queries and complaints and issues, just like they did with Consumer Affairs, except they'll be calling the Division of Mortgage Lending instead.
Joe Waltuck is Commissioner of Mortgage Lending. He says consumers will get additional protection thanks to new legislation.
That will require, like I said, loan modification and foreclosure consultants to become licensed with the division, and we are hopeful that we will be able to get a handle over the unlicensed activities and the loan modification and foreclosure consulting scams that have been going on in the marketplace. There will be regulations over these types of companies, whether they're loan modification companies or foreclosure consultants, people who try to stop foreclosures for you. We will have investigatory authority, examination authority. We'll be able to take action against them if they violate the law.
Right now, only about 40 loan modification companies are registered.
I believe most of them are nonprofits. I don't believe they have that many by comparison that are for-profit companies. We have no idea how many companies, whether they're for-profit or not-for-profit, exist in the state, let alone out of the state doing business into the state.
Yet your belief is there are a lot of cowboys out there.
I believe there are hundreds, if not more.
And there's still more good news for the little guy. People working for loan modification firms soon will be required to have suitable training in their field.
When we adopt our new regulations, we were going to have initial licensing, or education requirements for an initial license, and we will have continuing education requirements for licensees once they become licensed.
And those license numbers for both foreclosure and loan modification firms will, by law, have to be included in all advertising in hopes of weeding out the cowboys. Even though Consumer Affairs is closing in a couple of weeks, 2 state workers will continue to answer the phones after that to direct callers to the other agency. Jay Jones, Recession Rx.
And the Federal Trade Commission is looking for your comments on loan modification and so-called foreclosure specialist. We have a direct link to the FTC complaint form on our website.